NewAmsterdam Pharma is a clinical stage company focused on the research and development of transformative oral therapies for major cardiometabolic diseases. So with me to explain the company is the NewAmsterdam CEO, Dr. Michael Davidson, and Lena Gugasheva, the Chief Business Officer as well. So let's start with you, Doctor. Give me an overview of the company and what some of your main products are.
Sure. Thanks, Jane. Happy to be here. So NewAmsterdam Pharma, we're developing obicetrapib, a CETP inhibitor to lower LDL cholesterol. And what's exciting about that is it works very well on top of statins. We've proven that in our phase 2b trial. And now we're well underway in the phase 3 to get this new therapy available for patients as soon as possible.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to ask, because it looks like you have some positive clinical trial data at this point. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. We had the ROSE 2 trial came out in July of last year, showing that we lowered LDL by more than 50% on top of high-intensity statins. And that's in patients, we know that's a very important unmet medical need, because in today's world, statins are great drugs, but for many patients, they cannot get to the goals that we need to reduce the cardiovascular risk that is all important for that patient population.
Right. So this enhances the statins for people.
What's an add-on to statins? We now recognize that as goals get lower and lower, we have new evidence that we want to get their LDLs down as low as feasible, that we want to use statins as our mainstay, but for many patients, they cannot get to the LDL goals that are necessary, or they cannot tolerate statins, or the statin dose cannot be high enough to maximize the benefit we need for those patients.
Okay. Now, Lena, let's bring you in, because it's going to be an exciting time for you. In 2023, you'll be going public on the NASDAQ as part of a SPAC with Fraser Life Sciences. Can you explain the road that got you here and to that SPAC IPO that you'll be having in January?
Sure. Happy to be here, Jane. Thanks for having us. We're very excited to be listing on the NASDAQ tomorrow and closing this large transaction, including the merger with Fraser Life Sciences Corporation, as well as an oversubscribed and upsized private placement of approximately $235 million, co-led by Bain, with participation from RA, Medici, and a number of other, we think, very high-quality biotech specialist investors. Mm-hmm. And this was a really important transaction for us. We raised between the PIPE as well as the amounts in trust from the FLAC Trust, a total of $238 million, which importantly funds the company not only through our 2 phase 3 studies for LDL lowering, but also our ultimate cardiovascular outcomes trial, which will lead out in 2026. Mm-hmm. So really turbocharges the company to get through all important clinical readouts to get to an approval and bring this important therapy to patients.
Okay. And how big of a potential market could this be?
Quite large. I mean, as Dr. Davidson pointed out, many patients are not at goal, and goals continue to drop. So conservatively, we had estimated this summer about 30 million patients across the US and Europe. But importantly, goals continue to drop, and we expect those numbers to only go up as we go forward.
Yeah, well, and I feel like as an aging population globally, especially in the West, our diets aren't so great, I know. So this is like a growing and huge market. Can you weigh in on that, Dr. Davidson, like how big this might be and where the potential could be?
Yeah, I'm also a cardiologist, lipidologist, and that's my passion is preventing heart disease. The size of the market is actually enormous. Lena mentioned 30 million, but just recently in the US has been expert reports saying we should get the LDLs down to 55 for those that have heart disease, especially the other risk factors. In Europe, it's already 55. So we're getting more and more aggressive in where LDL levels should be. So that it's a very large number, at least 30 million, more like 50 million globally that need LDL levels to those target amounts that we now can further reduce cardiovascular risk. So, and then if you add on the fact that what's great about this particular drug, obicetrapib, is that it lowers LDL, it raises HDL, it lowers another important risk factor called Lp(a). It also, unlike statins, might reduce the risk of diabetes, which is one of the concerns about statins. Not a major concern as from my perspective, but still, certain patients it's a higher risk for developing diabetes on a statin. We mitigate that risk based on other data that we have. So when we look at the overall profile of this drug, very effective in lowering LDL, other benefits on important other lipid parameters, as well as the tolerability so far to date, and the diabetes benefit, we think we have a really important new therapy to bring to patients that need better cardiovascular risk management.
Yeah, very interesting. I have a lot of heart issues in my family, so I'm very interested personally too to what you're doing. Lena, explain the roadmap for next year. Of course, we know you've got the IPO coming. You'll be here at the NASDAQ in January, ringing the opening bell. What, from a business standpoint, what are some of your goals and strategies for 2023?
Sure. I mean, really for 2023, it's our clinical team continuing to execute on enrolling these 3 large studies and getting that data, which we expect in 2024. Importantly, we are also, in addition to the monotherapy product that lowers LDL by that 51% on top of high-intensity statins, we're also developing a combination product of obicetrapib with an existing drug called ezetimibe. We have a phase 2 study of that combination that is about to be completed. We'll expect that data in January of 2023. Very exciting additional tool in the arsenal. We expect that combination to actually lower LDL by an additional 60% on top of high-intensity statins. So just one more really powerful drug that we expect to take to the finish line in parallel with the monotherapy product.
Okay. Well, these are certainly important global health issues that you're tackling. So thank you. Best of luck. I would love to talk to you again once you get some of the clinical trials done next year, just to get an update and see where you are with everything.
Yeah, we would actually read out in January one of our next phase 2 trials. So love to talk to you about that when the time comes.
Yes, no, that would be great. And maybe when you're here to ring the opening bell, we can work that out, because I think that timing would be about right. Great to meet you. Best of luck. Congratulations. And I look forward to updates.
Thank you. Thanks, Jane. Thank you very much.